the vastness of the cosmos was a chaotic battlefield. Among the countless races that dominated star systems, humans were seen as new. However, a fearsome confidence preceded his presence in any conflict, that of his elite snipers, known simply as snipers. They were spoken of in suggestions, shrouded in myth, and even the most militarized species feared them. The Darak, a race of warriors with scaly skin and large jaws, led an intergalactic coalition against human expansion. Since humans began to explore the peripheral territories of the galaxy, the Darak have felt their dominant position threatened. They believed that their advanced technology and brutal tactics would make them invincible. However, there was something they couldn't understand: the rumors about the human snipers. Colonel Krask, leader of one of the largest Darak fleets, was skeptical of the legends. It was said that a single human sniper could turn the tide of an entire battle, taking down leaders from miles away and sowing chaos in the most organized armies. To Krask, this was just an exaggeration of generals who failed and needed an apology. He had never faced a human and was proud of his fleet made up of 10,000 Darak soldiers, well equipped and trained for combat in any environment. Krask was assigned to lead the invasion of the planet Rhina 9, a strategic human colony. The invasion was to be swift and decisive. The Darak army landed on the planet's arid plains with confidence. His soldiers, armed to the teeth, hoped to annihilate the human forces quickly. However, when they disembarked, the scene was unsettling. There was no immediate resistance. All they heard was the sound of the wind sweeping across the rocky terrain and the distant echoes of the mountains. "Advance," ordered Krask, irritated by the humans' apparent lack of defense. He refused to believe that such an insignificant force could threaten his army. The Darak began to march in formation, their armor shining in the light of Rhina 9's two suns. But then, a low, muffled sound resounded. *puff*. A soldier on the front line suddenly fell, a perfect hole in the center of his helmet. The army stopped. The heavy silence was broken by nervous murmurs. "Where did that come from?" Krask roared. His order echoed, but no one knew the answer. The soldiers looked at each other, unsure. The colonel activated his heat tracers and orders to detect any human presence were transmitted. They were sure that the advanced Darak technology could detect even a human's breathing. However, there was no signal at all. Then another shot. This time, an officer further back fell, a precise shot piercing his armor at the exact junction between neck and shoulder, where protection was weakest. Krask gaped. This was not a random shooting. He was meticulous, almost superhuman in his precision. As the minutes passed and more soldiers fell, the tension increased. The Darak, known for their military discipline, began to show signs of nervousness. The lines that had previously marched with precision were now disorganized. Every movement in the shadows, every faint sound, seemed to hide the invisible presence of the human gunman. Krask's trackers failed to locate the sniper. In a moment of pure frustration, he ordered the troops to fire randomly in all directions, trying to hit something, anything. Laser weapons cut through the sky, hitting distant rocks and trees, but the humans remained invisible. Krask didn't know it, but the human sniper wasn't acting alone. In a secret base miles away, Commander Wallace monitored the battlefield via stealthy drones. He coordinated snipers strategically positioned in the mountains. There were only 3 human snipers, but to the Darak, it looked like they were surrounded by an army. Wallace watched with a suppressed smile as the Darak began to panic. "You know what you're doing, right?" asked one of the officers next to him. "Yes," Wallace replied calmly. "These guys are arrogant. They think numbers and technology always win. Let's show them that skill, patience and knowledge of the terrain are equally deadly." As panic spread through the troops, Krask could not stop flashes of his past glories from flashing through his mind. He remembered his first victory as a commander, defeating a rebellious race in the far reaches of the Churek system. At that time, he believed he was invincible. Their strategy, combined with the Darak's technological superiority, seemed like a perfect formula for success. But here, on Rhina 9, Krask's confidence was being destroyed. He never imagined that an invisible enemy could undo his reputation in such a devastating way. His once disciplined soldiers were now completely losing morale. They looked everywhere, waiting for the next deadly shot. Krask could not accept being defeated by a handful of humans hiding in the shadows. With his fury and fear growing, Krask assembled an elite group of his most loyal and brutal troops to hunt down the shooter. They advanced across the rugged terrain, eyes sharp, scanning every rock, every hill. The Derek knew they were being distributed, but the frustration of not finding the appetizers only fueled their anger. With each advanced subway, tension increased. The muffled sound of gunfire continued to haunt the Derek troops. Another life was lost with each shot, and more soldiers were hesitant to follow orders. They no longer knew where the enemy was, or how many there were. Dread was infiltrating their ranks like a plague. Krask tried to reassure his soldiers. "This sniper is not invincible. We will hunt him down and show why the Derek are the dominant race in the galaxy," he barked, but his own voice betrayed his insecurity. Then a soldier spotted something, a small structure in the mountains. "There!" he shouted. They approached cautiously, surrounding the observation point, certain they had located the human sniper. But what they found was nothing. Just rocks and marks on the ground, indicating that someone had been there recently. The ground was still warm. The sniper was always one step ahead. Suddenly, a gunshot rang out closer than ever. One of Krask's elite soldiers has been shot down. The group dispersed, fear taking over. Krask found himself alone in a small clearing. He looked around, his heart beating fast, sweat running down his scaly face. He knew the next target would be him. It was then that a voice came over his communicator, calm and collected. "You don't understand war, Krask," said the sniper. "You can have the most advanced technology, the numbers and the best weapons. But we humans understand something that you don't. We are patient. And we know how to turn the battlefield into our weapon." Krask looked around desperately, trying to locate where the voice was coming from. "Show yourself, cowardly human," he shouted, but there was no response. Then, he felt something cold touch the back of his neck. He knew. The sniper was there, behind him, invisible until the last moment. "Now you understand why we are feared," the voice whispered before pulling the trigger. Thank you for watching the video. Take the opportunity to subscribe to the channel. Until next time.